Hi, thank you for joining me today. And today you can see I've pulled out Shimelle's main character energy to use with these two photos that we took recently on a trip to Cheshire Oaks. Cheshire Oaks is a shopping village near us, a discount outlet mall, and they have this lovely statue, I suppose you call it. I don't really know what to call it, with the word joy, and I managed to persuade the kids to pose in front of it, so that's what I wanted to document. And I thought the colours in main character energy worked perfectly with the colours in these letters. So I'm just cutting a few strips from some of the scraps that I've got from these papers, and I'm creating a reverse L. The photos were both printed 4x6, but I managed to cut the one of Ross and myself down by quite some size, so that's smaller than the one of James and Amelia. So the smaller one will go underneath, and you can see the shape that I've created there. So I used picked raspberry ink to start with to smush along the two edges of the card, just to create a base really for where to layer the papers up. And you can see on the right hand side of the screen I've also pulled out a load of old stickers and thickers to try and incorporate onto this layout. So anything that was bright and fun, I've pulled out. I think quite a lot of them are actually old Vicki Boutin collections anyway. So I'm just going to distress the edges of these strips of paper and then get them stuck down, and then I can start embellishing with those stickers. So the photos have been matted onto white cardstock. You will have seen me doing that at the beginning, just scrap white card, just to make them stand out a little bit. This layout gets very busy very quickly, so I wanted to give them some prominence with that white border. So just distressing these edges. Now these papers are from the paper pad, so they are single-sided and they are slightly thinner than, or lighter I should say, rather than the heavyweight individual cardstock. But I'm more than happy with that. It's not an issue at all. It just distresses slightly differently from other papers when I'm using them. So this piece is really quite thin, so just being a little bit careful when I'm distressing those edges, and I am going to layer that over the top of that plaid piece that's on the right hand side. Almost there. I should have cut some of this out really, shouldn't I? I'm sorry that you have to watch me just running an edge distresser down all these different edges. There we go. So I've switched the tape out in my ATG to a 6mm one rather than a 12mm one, seeing how I get on with that. I hadn't realised that these fit in the ATG Scotch ATG 700 until I read the instructions. I realised that they do. Jackie mentioned it at the weekend and she said, oh, I think I just put them in. So I thought I would give it a go, and it seems to be working quite well for me. So I had this pink piece with the foiled hearts on it. I was going to use a strip on each side, but then realised that the hearts wouldn't have been in the right direction had I put it down the right hand side of the page. So I just decided to stick with one piece at the top there. And I'm going to layer so many bits over the top, it doesn't really matter anyway. So this sticker sheet, more or less the colours are the colours in the photos, so I wanted to use a bit of that. And then the little bit I had left, I've just added to the bottom because I know other bits are going to be layered up, so that's fine. I love these little glasses, sunglasses, so I thought I'd add those as well. They were just bright and fun. So sticking the photos down so that I can carry on layering bits over the top. I haven't added any foam or anything, I just wanted to keep the photos flat on this page. And then I love this little tag that says today, but the long stringy piece didn't really work for me, so I've just pulled that off. You can see it sitting on my glass mat there at the top. And then this little frame says, oh, that smile. So I do end up moving that up the page to the top and layering this fun chipboard arrow over the top. As I mentioned before, I think both of these are from Sweet Rush, these chipboard thickers and also the sticker sheet. So they work really nicely with these colours. So that's another chipboard piece with all the orange hearts on it, and that's where I can tuck that star piece underneath so it looks continual. And then these thickers that I helped myself to a few weeks ago from Simple Stories. It's their Simple Vintage Colour Palette, and the word together is the right tone of purple to go with those letters, so I thought that worked nicely. So the title reads Today Together. So we'd just gone shopping after work. The kids and, well, Ross and James particularly really needed some new clothes for our holidays this summer. So we said we'd pop down to Cheshire Oaks and pick some bits up, which we did, and then went to Yo Sushi, which was lovely for tea, although I hadn't realised that the conveyor belts at Yo Sushi, they stopped putting things on there towards the end of service, and the service ends quite early. So we ended up having to order from the menu, which isn't really part of the fun of going to Yo Sushi, is it? It's watching the dishes that go round. But no matter, we still had a lovely time. It's just nice being together, spending a bit of money and sorting out their wardrobes. So this is one of our circle web dies that I've cut from craft cardstock, and I'm just tucking that underneath there just to fill in the gap between the two different sizes of the photos. And then I saw this purple piece that says checklist, and I thought that worked nicely, and obviously we've been shopping for clothes, so we had a bit of a list of what we needed. And then I'm going, this is ridiculous, look, the stickers are still on the side of this book and I just can't be bothered to pull them off because I know it's only the word phrases that I wanted to look through. So I'm having to peel up the ends of that book to have a look at what the phrases say instead of just pulling the stickers off the side or cutting them off the side. I do that when I finish filming. I do not know what was in my head. I think I was just thinking, just get this layout done, just keep going, keep moving. Didn't want to stop to cut those stickers off. So I added one of those stickers at the bottom that says this right here that I thought went nicely with the title. And I'm just going to go around and stick some of these chipboard pieces down because they're a good few years old now and the adhesive really has failed on them. So they need to be stuck down. You can see even that border piece that's from the 6x12 sticker sheet, the one with the stars on, is peeling up. So I do have to add some glue to that too. So just lifting things up to tuck the ends under. And I've also added one of my little black tabs that I punch using my EK Success Border Punch, just so that I can add the date there on the right hand side of the page. So that's those bits stuck down. That orange piece that I've added next to the hearts, it says Love This Life, and that was from the ephemera pack from Shimelle's main character energy, as is that lilac piece that says Free Spirit, and that does get added shortly. But in the meantime, I'm pulling in the Life Captured stamp set from Hey Little Magpie. This is one of my designs. I love this stamp set. And I'm just using a few inks that will work nicely with these colours. So the first one is shaded lilac. And then I've picked up the picked raspberry again. And then I'm also going to bring in, I think it was fossilised amber that I bring in. And mowed lawn, because all those colours work really nicely with the colours of the word joy in the photos. And just stamping randomly around the page. So I've got some that say love, some that say this, and then these circle pieces say good times with dots around the edge. And then I can add one of the circular stamps inside. They're designed to fit inside those dotted circles. So I'm going for this heart in pink, and you'll see just how beautifully that fits inside. And then just adding a secondary stamp down here. And it's all looking very clean and clinical to me. So I'll add some more stamping, but in a minute you'll see I do come in with the water. Let everything bleed together. So you could, if you don't like that look, you could just leave it as it is without adding the water, but I really like the look of the effect that that gives. So just coming in now, as I say, with fossilised amber and adding some of those chevron stamps, and then in with the mowed lawn, and adding the same stamp at the bottom, and then the chevrons, which are a separate stamp, are going to be stamped in green as well. And I love the combination of those colours. Sometimes seeing these monuments or statues or whatever you want to call it, and seeing the colours that have been used in them and bringing them into scrapbooking pages just gives me so much joy. They just look beautiful. So I'm bringing in one of our canvas flares. This is a love one. We had an event at the weekend and I'd made a couple of extra that we didn't need in the kits. So I was just decided to use that. It was on my desk. And some of the lovely faux suede hearts that we've got in the shop. And that little yellow flower as well. So just gluing this piece down. I'm going to add some black thread underneath the flare badge. Just twisting it up in my hand and then sticking it down. There we go. So just using some wet glue to get that stuck down. And I haven't bothered adding any glue to that circle web because with everything on top of it, it's going to hold into place nicely there. So it just wasn't necessary to add anything to that. So another one of those suede hearts in yellow. So I've added a pink one and a yellow one to the page, just to bring those colours around the page a little bit. And this is where I come in with the water. So I'm going to flick some water on, splodge it about a little bit on the page to blend things together, and also bring it onto those strips of ink that I added right at the beginning of the page, just to bleed those out a little bit more so that everything looks cohesive. So this strip is more or less covered by the papers, so I'm just going to help to tease the ink out from behind there, just so it shows along the top. And then I shall leave all of this to dry. I'm just going to add a few more bits and pieces and then leave it to dry before I have my journaling. So just helping that water to move about a little bit more. And now I'm coming in with the watercolour pencils from Tim Holtz. Again, using the same picked raspberry just to add some splatters. And then I'm going to come in with the black soot to add some black splatters. I love how that looks, but using a smaller paintbrush because I just want some really fine splatters from this. I don't want them to overtake the page. So just in that bottom right hand corner as well. So basically following that diagonal line from top left to bottom right. I found this cut apart from the printables at Hey Little Magpie to go with the main character energy collection, and thought it would be nice to turn that into an epoxy flare and tuck that behind the canvas flare there. So just making sure it's nicely pushed down, and then I'm using one of the 3M stickers that we sell to get that stuck down. And now the date, I'd forgotten to add the date to the tab, so I'm going to just roll a date, stamp that onto some scrap card, trim that out and stick that onto that black tab. And then I also want to bring in some enamel dots from my stash. I'm still trying to remember to go into my older stash when I use newer stuff or existing stash. I've got a drawer full of bits and pieces that really need to be used up. So just trying to be more conscious of doing that. So a few colours of enamel dots that match the colours in the photos again and the colours that I've used in the papers. And then I will leave this to dry before, as I say, doing my journaling. Just having a quick look to see what else. I wanted to add a couple more foam pads at the top left and the bottom right, just to finish off those strips. There we go. And then, of course, a ribbon loop, because I do love ribbon loops on my page. So I'm just going to tuck that in and then just squeeze some glue underneath to keep that in place. And then before I leave this all to dry, these splats are from the splat dies that we sell at Hey Little Magpie. Again, just cut from black card. And once again, these were part of the page kits, and I just made some extra ones in case. So they're just sitting on my desk after our lovely weekend event, and I thought I would add them to this page. So now all that's dry, I left it for a couple of hours. I'm just going to come in with my journaling just to say where we were and what we were doing. And I'm just going to write that all the way around the edge on top of those inked lines. And that finishes the layout. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope I've provided some inspiration, and I shall see you again very soon. Bye.